In the meantime, the Prime Minister is again talking up the Coalition's defence and national security credentials, opening a new site for Australia's Howitzer project in Victoria. Jonathan Lee joins us now. Jono, Scott Morrison has also announced further support for Ukraine today.
Danica, he certainly has. We saw the K9 howitzers, which the Prime Minister was announcing and talking about. But the real headline to come out of today is Australia's continued and expanding assistance of Ukraine. And in the last week, we've looked at the Australian-made Bushmasters, which are being sent to the now European theatre of war. Ukraine will receive 20 of those, which have been painted up, and they're heading over via a Globemaster transport plane as we speak, but the Prime Minister declaring that Australia's assistance will go further with a further $26.5 million. Now, the Prime Minister won't specifically say what that will pay for. He said it's been asked that they don't declare that, but what is very clear is Australia is willing and able to provide much greater assistance to Ukraine, and we're going to continue to do it.
This morning you would have seen the C-17 taking the first shipment of Australian Bushmasters built right here and going to Ukraine to help them defend their country. Already with that commitment, we have taken our commitment to supporting the Ukrainian defence effort to $160 million. Today, though, I'm announcing further investments that will see us spend $26.5 million in a package focusing on anti-armour weapons and ammunition and capabilities that have proven critical on the battlefield so far. I said they have our prayers, but I've also got our guns and our ammunition.
The government says that our total support, military and humanitarian, now comes close to $200 million. But the Prime Minister, though, was in Melbourne to turn the first sod on a new defence project. Australia recently announced that we're going to be getting and manufacturing Korean-made howitzers. These are artillery pieces which potentially, or if they're ever needed, protect our soldiers on the battlefield. We'll be making them here along with support vehicles to go with it. It's a $1 billion project. What the Prime Minister, though, wants to do and continues to do is point out the Coalition's point of difference over defence spending. At the moment, there is no real air gap between the two parties, but the Prime Minister is trying to tell voters that last time Labor was in power, they significantly cut defence spending, and in his words, that makes them a risk.
What we've done today is turn the sod on a $1 billion project to develop these howitzers right here in Australia, in Victoria. Now, this was a project that was first delayed by Labor and then cancelled by Labor as they were cutting spending on our defence forces to the lowest level that we had seen since 1938.
And Jonathan, aged care continues to be a key issue this election.
I suppose we can talk about fronts. The government wants to be talking about the budget and about defence spending, the key election. The front that the opposition wants to talk about is aged care. They have the $2.5 billion package in their budget response. They want to increase the number of nurses. They want to increase wages. Both sides agree on on the fact that wages should be increased, although there is still a large question mark over potentially what it will be. That will be decided independently, and then of course taxpayers will have to foot the bill.
It's just a rash promise that won't be delivered, that you've seen from Anthony Albanese to say that these things can magically be done sooner without actually the hard yards of building the workforce first.
But it's hardly rash to make a submission to the Fair Work Commission from a government to argue that these people should be paid more.
We back its independence. Now, I think it's pretty meaningless for Labor to say we're going to write a letter or a submission saying that we support an increase, but not have the guts to then actually say what type of increase they want to see. We're at least being upfront here.
This government, I'm quite stunned that it is now more than a week since my budget reply, where fixing the aged care crisis was the centrepiece, and all we've had from this government is sniping.
Danica, the Coalition's large criticism here is the opposition won't say what that increase in the salary should be for those in the aged care sector. But it's also important to point out that when the Prime Minister was asked today what he believed the salary or the wage increase should be, he said whatever the Fair Work Commission determines. So the Coalition isn't putting on a table a specific figure here. So taxpayers are still yet to find out exactly what it will cost them, what it will cost the budget. But what everyone agrees with is that those in the sector thoroughly deserve to be paid more. Danica.